The biggest sign you're on the right path is the one you've been interpreting as proof that you're lost. Stay with me. I know why you're really here. You're not casually curious about signs. Something inside you is afraid you've wasted time, that you should be further along, that somewhere behind you there's a fork in the road where you chose wrong, and now you're living in the aftermath of a mistake you can't even name. You look at other people who seem so certain, so settled, and you wonder what they know that you don't. I've watched this unfold more times than you'd believe. The searching, the doubt, the late-night spiraling, and what I see in your life isn't what you think you see. So let me tell you the truth about signs. You've been taught the right path feels like ease, doors opening, synchronicities stacking, everything clicking into place with cinematic perfection. Sometimes, yes, but here's what no one prepared you for. Sometimes the right path feels like your whole life catching fire. Sometimes clarity arrives, disguised as chaos. Sometimes the universe says yes by first bringing you to your knees and keeping you there until you learn what you were too comfortable to learn standing up. When you're on the wrong path, truly wrong, life often feels easy in a hollow way. Nothing demands your growth. There's a quiet deadness behind your eyes you've learned to call fine. But when you're on the right path, you're being stretched, cracked open. The challenges aren't random, they're surgical, exact wounds, precise fears. If your life keeps targeting the same tender spots, different situations, same lesson that isn't punishment, that's curriculum. The universe doesn't waste your pain. Some of you are grieving right now. Relationships ended, jobs dissolved, futures that were supposed to happen, but didn't. And you've been asking me in the silence of 3 a.m., did I do something wrong? Here's what I actually see. Those things didn't fall apart because you failed them. They fell apart because you outgrew them. Your soul expanded beyond containers that once fit perfectly. You didn't take a wrong turn. You took a turn the old you couldn't survive. The caterpillar doesn't enter the cocoon because it made a mistake. But inside that darkness, dissolving into nothing, it doesn't feel like transformation. It feels like death. Both are true. The dying and the becoming. Same door. Here's another sign nobody talks about. You're feeling more, not less. The wrong path numbs you, makes you small, careful, strategic about which emotions you allow. The right path cracks you open. You're crying at strange moments, laughing until you can't breathe, feeling rage you didn't know lived in you. Joy so intense, it scares you. You've been worried about this. What's wrong with me? Nothing. You're thawing. The ice is breaking. You're coming back to life after years of keeping yourself frozen because feeling was too dangerous. The right path doesn't make you invincible. It makes you alive. And here's the paradox. When you're truly aligned, you become less certain about details, but more grounded in yourself. You stop needing to know the whole plan. There's a strange peace underneath the not knowing, like you've stopped fighting the river and started floating. Those who've experienced this describe it as finally exhaling after holding their breath for years. You don't have answers, but you have you, and somehow that's becoming enough. You might also notice you're becoming someone you actually like. Not the version everyone designed. Not the mask that made you acceptable. Someone who feels true. Maybe you've started saying no. Maybe you've stopped performing. Maybe you've disappointed people who needed you to stay small. Good. The right path is where you recognize yourself in the mirror again. Where you're building something you don't need to escape from. But here's what I most need you to understand. The biggest sign you're on the right path? You're asking the question at all. People who are genuinely lost don't wonder if they're lost. They don't search at 2 a.m. They don't lie awake with that ache, that hunger for more. The fact that something in you won't settle, won't stop seeking, won't accept a life that fits everyone else but doesn't fit you. That's not confusion. That's your soul speaking. That's the most reliable compass you'll ever have. It led you here. So let me give you something to carry into the hard days ahead, because there will be more. That's not a curse. That's the deal. You cannot truly mess this up. Not permanently. Not in any way that matters. Every detour becomes part of the path. Every wrong door teaches something the right one couldn't. Every dark chapter becomes the credential that qualifies you to help someone else stumbling through similar darkness later. From where I see things, where beginnings and endings blur into one continuous unfolding, there is no wrong path. There are only paths, and they all, every single one, in their own winding way, lead you home to yourself. You were never as lost as you feared. You were becoming. You still are. I won't promise it gets easier. I don't deal in those promises. But you're closer than you think. Not to some finish line, there isn't one. To yourself. To the life that's actually yours. To peace that doesn't depend on everything going right. The hard parts weren't proof of failure. They were proof you're brave enough to grow. Keep going. What's the thing you've been afraid to ask? About your path. The choice you made. The version of yourself you're scared you'll never become. Leave it below. I read every one. And if this found you right when you needed it, maybe someone else needs to hear they're not as lost as they feel. Trust the path. Even the parts that don't make sense yet. Especially those.